something dear to Ben Mankiewicz's heart when the Stanford band, which is totally out there in every way possible, they thought, security did, that the Stanford band was sneaking in booze to this game. It turns out they were not, but this kid may have had something to drink, or his energy is just incredibly high. Watch and we'll discuss.
Turnovers in the first half got disrupted, but they were terrific in the second. Looking forward to a little Thursday night action.
I am. Are you good?
I am as well. I'm excited about that.
Ben, what do you think about the Stanford band?
Well, first of all, the great thing is that guy got 2,400 on his SATs.
Yeah, just like me. Yeah,
because he's at Stanford, and because of the other thing. But I mean, that guy is like, yeah, that's great. That's college. That was great. I love that guy.
Yeah, you love that guy?
Yeah. Now, can we talk about that game for a sec?
Yeah.
Kansas missed bunny after bunny after bunny. Stanford couldn't get the ball over half court. They couldn't, he
was happy about it.
He was happy, but they'd get up 6, they'd get up 7, and then we get it cut to 1 instantly, and then Chase Randall couldn't get the ball over half court. They turned it over 3 consecutive times.
The full court press
in
was
the
huge
backcourt
for Kansas. Yeah.
Kansas turned it over at one point 3 straight times in the backcourt and didn't score.
Yeah.
Like they turned it over, and then they must have had in those 3 possessions. They must have had 11 shots. And Wiggins, what did he end up with?
4 points, 1 of 6 shooting,
and so many drives to the basket. And then you just be like, why didn't it go in? Like, I don't know.
Yes.
And
well, every offensive possession, not to cut you off, every offensive possession for Kansas seemed like it was just stagnant. Like nothing was flowing. There was no flow to their offense at all. Some of the good looks they had, it didn't go in. Perry Ellis had like a putback dunk, but every other possession that Perry Ellis had the ball and was shooting.
He was 3 of 10, Perry Ellis.
There was somewhat of a lid on the basket, but even then, like down the stretch within the last 3 minutes, right when Tariq Black fouled out, it totally changed the momentum of the game.
I didn't feel that way. I mean,
Really?
Stanford hit another, because Kansas still had looks. They just couldn't score. I mean, sometimes I think we overstate it. Like, Stanford played well, and I loved it. Great win for the Pac-12, and they got 3 teams in the Sweet 16.
Sure.
And that's great for the conference. But Kansas just didn't have balls go in, and if those balls go in like they normally do, Kansas would have won. That's all there is to it. And
well, I think if Wiggins was a little more aggressive. I feel like at times he checked out a little bit.
He was 1 of 6.
Yeah.
Ellis was 3 of 10.
Needs to shoot more.
Black was 6 of 8. That's it. So 1 of 6 for Wiggins, 3 of 10 for Ellis, 2 of 8 for Tharp, 1 of 5 for Selden, 0 of 4 for Mason, 1 of 8 for Traylor. The only guy to make shots was Frank Camp, and he was 4 of 8. And that was he was 2 of 6 before the last 2 crazy ones in the last 25 seconds of the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't add that up, but if you take Black out, those guys are shooting like 25%, and they kept getting offensive rebounds and follows, and it wouldn't go. And Stanford is long and tall, and that made a difference.
Yep, absolutely.
But when you're that effective at preventing the team from getting the ball over half court, which Kansas was, they just should have won. That was a game that you watched, and I kept thinking, how did they, like, there seemed to be 5 moments in that game where Stanford had
shots.
Right, but you watch basketball enough and you see something happening and you know what's going to happen a little. Like maybe if Stanford.
You felt like Kansas was going to win.
Because it's not like Stanford kept making shots. Kansas kept not making shots.
Sure.
So 3 times when Stanford got a lead of up to 6 or 7, Kansas came right back. Mm-hmm. And each time you thought.
When it was like 47-40, then it was 48-47.
And then you're like, each time you thought, here it is. And then they couldn't
sustain it.
They could, right, and you just and it was once, and they stopped it, and then the second wave came, and then the third wave came, and you kept thinking, at some point Kansas is going to hit a 3 and go up 2, and then get some free throws, and they're going to be up 4, and they're going to win the game.
I hate to beat a dead horse, but I'm just saying, like, I was watching that entire game. When Tariq Black fouled out, it was over. I just knew it was over. Their best offensive weapon, their best rebounding. He was a rebounding machine, even though he only had, 6 or 7 rebounds total. Everything went through him. Yeah. Wiggins was struggling. Tharp hit 1 big shot, and then I thought, okay, like that's gonna. When he hit the 3, the alley 3, I was like, okay, that's gonna sort of get the momentum going and whatnot. But it never did. Every offensive possession seemed so forced. There was no flow to it, no rhythm at all. I don't know what offense they were running. Yeah, they missed a lot of shots and whatnot.
But you take those guys out, take Frank Camp and Black out, and Frank Camp's 2 shots at the end were once the game had really been decided.
Somewhat magical.
But 8 of 41. That's
really?
Under 20% for those other guys.
God.
So, I mean, they could not score the basketball, and they were doing everything else right. It just felt, to me, it was a bizarre game to watch. And then afterwards, I'm like, I literally don't know how they won that game. Maybe it was the cowbell guy.
The Sweet 16, by the way, they played Dayton now. Stanford against Dayton and Memphis. One of those teams is going to go to the Elite Eight.
The great news for UCLA is if you beat Florida, you got a really good chance to go to the Final Four.
Sure. Yeah. Very good point. By the way, I was really impressed.
And if Florida beats UCLA, Florida's going to the Final Four.
Yeah, certainly.